What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement Live Q&A. Appreciate everybody stopping by every week. Today we're going to go over less this week and talk about some stuff that every reseller is going through. First off, I want to start with this $5,500 jacket that you bought or found. Oh, you bought it and found it at the Goodwill bins.
Yes, Laurel Piana jacket, unheard of. You said it was unheard of finding this at the bins.
I've never found a jacket. I found some shirts, but I've never found something like this. The MSRP is $5,500 on this jacket, and it's like new, but I'm gonna have less talk about it.
Yeah, so I don't want to take all the credit. I was searching and I was streaming on Whatnot live at the bins, and my boyfriend was like, "This jacket says made in Italy," and I was like, "Okay, search it up." And then he was like, "Is this real?" And then I was like, "I don't know." And then I brought it to Chris to check, and then he was like, "Yeah, it's real." And I'm like, "That's insane."
So what makes this jacket super expensive is that it's cashmere and then goose down. It's part of the it's a Storm Systems jacket. So it's really expensive. You look it up, it's a Traveler's Storm System jacket. If you look at similar jackets on eBay, they're selling for between 2 and 3,000. I'm gonna have her put it up at either like 4,500 or best offer, maybe 39.99 or best offer. But it's insane to me that she found this at the Goodwill bins, and it literally is in perfect condition. And well, I guess her boyfriend found it, but just an insane deal at the Goodwill bins because obviously it pays for like an entire month of sourcing. And I feel like if you are out there sourcing, you will get lucky. And I literally told her she could not go home that day. She had to stay and do it.
Wait, stay and do what?
Stay and look through more stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I feel like it didn't even really hit me until we had the event on Saturday, and Chris was like, "No, this is insane," and then everyone was like, "No way." And I don't know, I was just like, it's not gonna hit me until it sells, to be honest. But yeah, literally crazy. And I've been thrifting for years. This is definitely not normal, but it's for sure hope for you guys out there.
Hopefully, there's a lot of questions today. I'm going to go through a couple of questions that I have for Les. First question is, how was this week for you?
I feel like it's good. I mean, I made on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, I had my first. What I think it was Thursday, $300 day. So that was good. Yesterday it was like the average $200. Right now I'm gonna stream on Whatnot. I feel like it's been consistent schedule. I'm excited to build like my store a little bit more. I already posted my like 5 items already. I'm still gonna take a pictures a few more things. But yeah, it's been good week, like consistent week.
I've had some really good feedback from people at home chiming in saying that they need more actual footage of Les doing it. So we're going to work on that, try to get pictures of her at the consignment shop, the actual receipts, because people are like, she says she's made $200, but where's the receipt? Where are the items that she's actually bringing in? And it comes to this thing that I've noticed, which is like her week takes like at least 30 to 40 hours to do all the work that we're talking about in the schedule. She doesn't have time to also make content about it. And that's sort of where, when you're in the field that much, it's really difficult to also document at the same time. I know some people out there are able to do it, but it's so hard to also keep track of every single thing. But a lot of people do need that. And after talking to people at our live event, I want to do a lot more live modeling where you actually see somebody doing it. So I thought I could just tell you guys she's going to X amount of consignment shops. And somebody who came introduced me to this store called Relove. And I don't know if you know about this, but there's a store in Oakland called Relove, and the person who came to my event was like, "Yeah, I saw what Les is doing at Plato's Closet and Buffalo Exchange and Crossroads, and I went to like an adult version of that because Plato's and Crossroads have a younger demographic. Yeah. Relove has an older adult demographic, and the store is insane. Like every single item is $200 to $1,000. Really, really nice, vintage, eclectic, modern, contemporary stuff. And so those consignment shops, you could consign the higher end adult stuff, and Les finds it occasionally. Like this Laurel Piana jacket, they would probably consign it 5,000. They would try to sell it for that much there because it's just such an insane piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually saw that store, but like you said, it's really like premium pieces, so I didn't even put it on my radar of places to go to. And I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
They were wondering if you could show it again, like what it is that you found.
This is a Laurel Piana Storm Systems jacket. It's cashmere exterior and goose down interior. It's definitely not fake. The stitching is incredible. The material is incredible. It's a size extra large, which is unbelievable. It might be the best thrifting find I've ever seen in person. Um, it's such a ridiculous find. I have only found a few items in my entire career over $1,000 profit, and there's no reason to cheap sell this. It's at a perfect size, perfect color. It's incredible.
How much did you buy it for?
I mean,
$5.
each item comes out to probably like what, $3?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, also, people were, I just want to clarify, I didn't really want to reveal Les's cost of goods, but I feel like maybe that's not transparent enough for you guys. So, her cost of goods is probably around $2, because the items that are t-shirts and lighter items are definitely under $1, and the heavier pieces are closer to $5 based on weight. So, if we do average cost of goods, let's just call it $3 for this jacket because it's definitely heavier than the other ones, but true cost of goods closer to $2 per item.
Yeah, I feel like when I tell people that, they're really in disbelief, and I'm like, it's the bins, amazing.
Tales from the Crypto says, how long of posting 5 items every day did it take for you to start getting 1 to 300 in sales every day?
That's a good question. So I want to relate this back to Les because a lot of people are like, if you are the eBay guru, how come she doesn't have gangbusters eBay sales? She's really, really, really early on in the eBay journey. She's only listed her first few items. I don't expect her sales to be fast. In my opinion, the items that she has in her store are the normal items that take 2 years to sell on eBay. We're not looking for the quick, immediate flip because that where you're asking about how long did it take to list 5 items before I was selling 1 to 300 items, $300 a day depends on which items you're listing and also the price point that you're putting at. If Les were to decrease all of her pricing to like $9.99 plus shipping, she would still make a profit, but I don't recommend doing that because she's finding some more of the premium items that take a long time. I would say to sell $1 to $300, you would need 10,000 to $20,000 worth of stuff listed. If you're looking for a specific dollar amount, and depending on what your items are, how expensive they are, it's like between 1 and 2,000 items, depending on what the items are. If they're just average, if they're really good items, maybe as low as 200 items, and you're selling 1 to 5 a day for $1 to $300.
Wow, that's crazy.
Avalon Dreaming is commenting about the consignment. They say those places take a huge commission, though, up to 80%.
They take as low as 20% too. So on cheaper items, they can take up to 90%. I've actually seen there's a store here called Second Street. They take 99%. They only give you 1 penny on an item that is not very good. They give you 1 penny. So I mean that's really really low, right? The same shop, Second Street, they'll give you 80% on a designer bag. So it really depends on what it is. If it's not very good, they're going to take at least 80% because you're kind of wasting their time by bringing in a lower piece item. But on the higher end, they give you way, way, way more. I want to say one more thing before some questions. When people came on Saturday, they asked for a few different things that I'm going to be doing more on my YouTube channel. One is they wanted to watch me do accounting in person, updating a spreadsheet. They wanted to watch inventory system. They watched a little bit here of our inventory system, but it's not the same as an eBay store. Photos, listing, and shipping they wanted to do in person. They wanted to do reset to 0. And we went sourcing together. So everybody got that part of it because we went sourcing to the flea market. We went through what things are priced at, how to write titles. That they got. But the rest of it, they want to do the nuts and bolts stuff. And people wanted to do it once a month. So I'll think about maybe in-person experience like that. It was cool. We got to eat breakfast and lunch together, hang out together. And I got to really get to know resellers in person because everyone got to share their schedule, how many hours they work, what they like to find, what they like to sell. One person was doing 750,000. One person had never even listed an item. So I had the full range.
Yeah, and back to the consignment. Honestly, it's really also about how much I would say you value your time. For example, for me, doing the consignment 9 to 3 and I'm getting $200, I'm okay with that right now that I'm like starting off the store, the business, versus like that $200 I would like yes, they're giving me less money for my items, but I also don't have to like take a picture of it, like make a title, like list it, wait for it to sell. It's about your time and also the fact that they're buying it from you right then and there. And usually I'll get $200. So I'm like, that's not bad to me.
Another comment, they say, insane find. Are there any comps for the exact jacket and size?
No, I didn't see anything in extra large. It's such a good size. So this is one of those scenarios where I think you price high and wait. There are 0 jackets like this out there, and it's not cold yet. There's no reason to cheap sell this. I honestly wouldn't suggest any accepting an offer less than 2,000, and that's already so insane. So I would just wait because there's so many Laurel Piana collectors, and even one of the guys I follow, Ramit Sethi, has a Netflix channel. He talks about he'll spend up to $40,000 on a jacket because he loves Laurel Piano that much. Like, he'll drive a Honda Accord, cook at home, no vacation, so he can buy a $40,000 jacket. So, I mean, that's like, there's people who really, really love the brand, and I think that when you have that kind of insane loyalty, they're going to snatch it up. They're looking for it.
Yeah, and it's in like perfect condition. So yeah, like I said, hopefully it sells. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, but I'm excited for it to sell.
Tales from the Crypto says, where do the items at the bins come from? Are they items pre-Goodwill or post-Goodwill that didn't sell?
They have all those different tiers. This is why I was a little bit cryptic about Leslie's sourcing, because they have different tiers of buying, and I wanted people to actually go there and find that out. Like, instead of asking that question, you could go and you could see the different grades that they have there, and it's like you go one time and you can see the difference between stuff that came from the store, right? Still has tags on it. That stuff is considered doo-doo by them. They'll even give you a new one if you get stuff from the store that's not good. They that's not a good tier. They have stuff that's like no stains. They have stuff that's raw. They have stuff that's fresh donations. They have stuff that's from different locations. There's so many different levels of it. So I recommend you go to your local Goodwill, go to a few of them, and really get an idea, because they're just so different.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, for when you buy at the bins, like the price per pound, you're not beating that anywhere.
Juan is asking, do you wash the clothes that have minor stains / dirt?
Yes, the clothes that I'm listing online, I do wash. But for example, I have been streaming on Whatnot, and I've had my pile for consignment and that I list online that I do wash. Then I have a separate Whatnot pile that clothes is like good, but it wouldn't sell, or it's too saturated online. And that clothes, I'm just literally at the bin streaming it, and I tell them I'm not washing it.
So you disclose that. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to disclose it on eBay. You have to wash it technically. You have to use eBay standards, and you have to wash your garments before posting. Some people don't, and there's not really like some robot that can tell whether or not you washed it or not, but it is recommended because clothing looks different after it's been washed. So I highly recommend you wash your clothing, unless you're going to just auction it off to the highest bidder. In that scenario, if you are disclosing that you don't wash it, people would rather get the deal.
Yeah.
Duncan VR is asking, can Les source from Chris's staff's Whatnot shows?
She can. I am teaching her how to fish, though. I could just supply her, but that would be really annoying for viewers at home. It would be just like, oh, I have all these items that Chris gave me. That's not the experiment that we're doing, but she could source from us.
Yeah, I've been sourcing for personally here. I just bought some pants earlier.
Yeah, there's like it's a lot. It's the employee sales here are actually significant. I probably have a few $100s a day in sales just from people who work here. So like you could source stuff here to wear on your own, or you could also flip it. I don't want people here buying stuff to resell, though. It's kind of a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, you just have really cute stuff that everyone wants. David Sanders says, hi, Chris and Les. Had a great time on Saturday.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming. And I also realized that one of the big takeaways from Steven, who came, was that he couldn't believe that reselling is real. Like, there really is an opportunity to make money here, and it's not fake. It's not like illegal. It's not it's a service that needs to be there. So like, it's very unusual to be able to find an opportunity that's legal, doesn't require any experience, and honestly, you don't need to make the item or find the customer. You just need to find the item that somebody else made, post it online to a site that somebody else made, get a customer that you don't know to buy from you, and then you ship it to them. It's really, there's not a more simple business that's legal than this.
And it's like sustainable a little bit.
And it's sustainable. That was one of the emails I just received. Like, they find it personally that they need to create a more sustainable world since there's so much fast fashion and fast everything. Selling pieces like Loro Piana is really the definition of luxury. Like, the definition of luxury from Hermes is luxury can be repaired. This jacket you could wear the rest of your life. It's insane quality.
Yeah.
It's probably never been washed. It looks brand new.
Yeah, it looks really good. Duncan's asking, Chris, when are you going to have the other 8 kids?
I was gonna have 10 kids, but after 2, I'm gonna tap out. I'm gonna get a vasectomy, and we'll call it good. I still don't know what that is, and I don't care. I'm just gonna go in and get the procedure done, and then I won't have any babies anymore. Apparently, it's reversible, but 2 is enough. I'm happy with them. I love them a lot, and I've been really enjoying being a dad.
Tales from the Crypto says, do you go to the bins every day to source?
No, I go 2 days out of the week and I just buy a lot of items those days. And then the day after that, I go sell it. Or then on Tuesdays, I post some of the stuff online. So I'm going 2 days out of the week and I'm buying enough so that I have enough stock for the next day or the days that come up, I guess.
Yeah, I have her sourcing at the bins twice a week, full time, and then doing laundry immediately after. And I was talking to the group that came here. Most people don't source enough to get lucky. Like, you're just going to a thrift store maybe you've never been to, maybe you have a couple stores you go to once in a while. You won't notice anything. If you go to the same stores over and over and over again, after the 10th, 11th, 12th time, you really know what you're looking for. So like, this experiment is really skewed because she's literally putting all of her effort in the one form of sourcing, and most people spread it out thin, and it's just so difficult to find things when you don't have any idea of when the good stuff is going to be there.
I feel like that's why I've just liked the bins so much. Even before I started this, I would go to the bins as a personal shopper because going to a regular thrift store, you're paying like $5 for a shirt, like $13 for jeans versus like at the bins, you could have a whole bag of shirts for, depending on weight, if they don't weigh much, like $10, that's insane.
Avalon Dreaming says, since I've been doing this, I haven't personally bought any retail clothes. They just buy their own clothes from thrifting.
Are you buying stuff brand new?
Oh, no, same. I haven't bought things really new in so long, even before this. And even the stuff that I do buy kind of new, I'll splurge on if I go to Wasteland, which is like a very like higher end consignment store. I'll buy items from there, which they're pricey there, but that's like my version of like new, I guess.
I buy new shoes. That's pretty much it. Other stuff I generally wear pre-owned, and I like to go to Poshmark if I find something I like and make an offer on everybody that has the same thing, because I'm a guy and I like the same thing in different colors. So it really is like pretty straightforward. For me, buying retail, it needs to be something really special. And when I went to the shop, Relove, it blew my mind. They had so many cool Ralph Lauren pieces. So many cool Ralph Lauren pieces that I would wear. Lots of double RL, which was super cool. I like RLX. There was a lot of stuff there like that. Everything had cool prints. It's like what I would normally wear if I cared. And I was like, I could easily drop $500-$600 at this store on like 10 pieces because it's so freaking expensive. And I would guess that they probably only sell 10 to 20 pieces a day. It's really expensive and it's not for everyone. It's kind of like for a hipster Brooklyn or Oakland type of person. I feel like where we live is the Brooklyn of the West Coast, so kind of alternative, hippie, cool. So their pieces were insane.
HK says, with Whatnot shows, do you organize the orders by customer, since some orders will have multiple items not purchased back to back, or do you leave items in sequential order when they sell in the show?
I do sequential, however, they don't stay sequential. So, like for example, if you were to do, because most of the items in shows will vary by weight a little bit, so you're gonna have to either change the auction as you go, or so you could either do sequential or you could do. I've seen people have buckets like A through D, E through G. They have like buckets of username, so you put all of Adam 1, 2, 3 in a bucket. I find that is not as good though as chronological. Personally, unless you write the person's username on the item, I'd rather just write the number of the auction.
Duncan is asking, what is one tip Les would give to a new seller?
That's on my list of questions for her today. But go ahead.
Wait, okay, I need to think about it.
Only
Okay, one tip I would give to a new reseller. I would say definitely spend time researching clothes and material. That is like the foundation of everything, because even me, like, I'll be at the bins, I'll be looking at clothes, and I won't know the brand, but I'll feel it, and I'm like, oh, this feels like it doesn't feel made in China, like, you know. And so, like, yeah, 100%. You have to study clothes, and you don't even have to be that knowledgeable about brands, but you just make an effort into studying like clothing and material for sure.
One of the biggest takeaways from that was when we went to the flea market, we went sourcing. A lot of the people who came with me did not understand the materials. They did not, even let alone the brand. They were touching garments, and the garments were very cheap. And they knew they were cheap, but not why. Because sometimes thin doesn't mean cheap. So it can be thin and expensive. So it's not just the texture. And being able to find a whole bunch of, like I found a Patagonia shirt that didn't feel like, that felt really nice, but there was no tag on it. The tag was like, Patagonia doesn't always put their tags right there. Sometimes they put it like on their pocket or underneath the buttons. So like you wouldn't know that if you didn't spend some time touching more premium fabric. Like this jacket is insane. It's super duper duper soft.
Yeah.
So that's where like you're getting this insanely warm jacket. It's super soft to the touch. It's lined. It's lined with really thick fabric and this really cool red piping, and it also has the goose down on the inside. It's extremely, extremely, extremely well made. Maybe one of the highest constructed items I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's why I posted a TikTok. All things less. I posted a TikTok about finding that, and then people were like, "Oh, like it's fake, etc." And I'm like, "Okay, it must be a super fake then, because it feels like literally amazing." Which, yeah, and also I don't think there's too many fakes of like Loro Piana. Like it's not like LV, Gucci, where people are like making too many fakes of. I feel.
And Goodwill staff would not know what this is. It's one of those brands that's so rare. I literally have seen it twice in my entire career, and I've only seen a shirt.
Along those lines, Hunter says, in 2016, I found a Hermes Birkin bag at Goodwill for $3.99. I had no idea what it was, but the quality stood out to me when I touched it. I knew it was expensive.
That's insane. They do make fakes of those. Lots of fakes of those. So that's something to be careful of. But again, the fake construction is very interesting. I just saw a study from Entropy. They're an authenticator online. They have this machine that can take photos. They have perfect fakes, and really the only difference is that the size is a little bit different. So like literally same materials, same color, same stitching, and the only thing different is just the literal size of the item is a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, because it's hard for them to like analyze the exact dimensions, but it's incredible how some of the fakes out there, they look just like it.
Yeah, the super fakes.
Alicio says, Les, do you go through the bins or just the pallets that you buy?
I've just been going through the pallets just because it definitely is a time saver. I will go through the actual bins, for example, like if there is a rotation and it's like the new stuff that's coming out, I'm like, okay, let me go give it a look. But yeah, I've just been going through the pallets.
Wait, so did you find this jacket in the pallet then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is in a bulk pallet. So I want to go over something real quick, which is lately I've been feeling a bit of a disconnect with my audience, and I think I know why. Because there's a difference between building an eBay or reselling business. A reselling business is quite different than just making a living from reselling. Making a living from reselling is where a lot of people come to my channel for advice. They're looking for like, okay, how do I take photos faster? How do I list more items? I want to list 20 more items every day. How do I do it? And that is sort of like a survival mode mindset. Like, how am I going to try to find these items? Versus building a business is a little bit different. You're trying to make it sustain without you. So how I look at it is like, I'm looking for a business to business relationship on the purchasing side. So it's more streamlined. So with Les, she has a business to business relationship with Goodwill. She goes there twice a week and gets the goods she needs. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like, how many garage sales can I go to on the weekend? Because there's going to be different every single time and going to be very difficult to predict what you get. So I want to just let people know I understand there's some differences in what people are looking for and sometimes what my content is, because I talk a lot about schedule and people hate that. They're like, what does that have to do with listing more? And I'm like, you need to figure out what you do in an hour and then times that by how many hours you want your goals to be. And people are like, well, show me. So like, that's the part where I can't just say, figure out how long your photos and listing takes and then try to trim off some time. People don't look at it that way. They just want to know, how do I list more items now? They don't think about the preparation or the execution of that.
Tales from the Crypto says, how long do you stay at the bins per visit?
Oh my gosh, it depends. I will maybe like 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours at least. Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, I think people greatly underestimate. Like, when I get a question like, hey, how do I make my sales faster or how do I list more? It feels a lot different than when Les comes back after doing it for 6 hours. She's like, hey, I noticed this whole long list of things. What do you think? And like, my next question for her today is actually like, how have the people that you've met kind of like influenced you? Because you've met a lot of people, like people from my group. You met Hansel. Like, how have those people affected you? People that are not me that you met there.
Yeah, shout out Hansel. It's actually crazy because I feel like the resellers, the ones that I would always see back when I was more so a personal shopper, like the amount of knowledge that they have. My first week that I went to the bins, I talked to these two guys, Hansel and Eric, and like they were just telling me so many things that as a personal shopper, I never knew any of the stuff. But now that I was going there as a reseller, I was looking for a little bit more information, like behind the scenes. Like they were talking to me about flea markets, like so many different things. And I was just like, it was always so much deep. Like it was way more deeper than I ever thought, which is crazy.
I mean, I went there the very first day. They let me know what days were better, like who the manager was. There was so much information that came in, and I just want people to be in the field more often. In the field is where you learn everything, and she's in it. She's doing the laundry. She's at the Goodwill bin. She's at the consignment shops learning brands. There's nothing that teaches you what people buy faster than being in a store that sells trendy items. Like, she can walk around the store and basically know exactly what to buy, touch it, feel it.
Yeah, and especially like, for example, like selling to consignment, I'm like, I'm not even going to go to this store. I know they're not going to buy my items. The items that I have is not their style. Or, oh my gosh, all of my items I'm sending to this store, they're literally going to buy them all because it's all the style. There's so many levels. It's so crazy.
Juan is asking, is the plan to just do clothing or eventually expand into other items like electronics, home goods, etc.?
I'll let you answer first.
Right now, yeah, like clothing, but I mean, I'll be on TikTok and I do see other resellers, like they're making a lot of profit from like plushies. My bins, it only has clothes, but other bins like Sacramento, Santa Rosa, they have like actual items like electronics, plushies. I feel like if I had access to bins, I haven't been to the San Francisco ones though. I need to go. If I had access to bins like that, maybe I would be open to doing a little bit more like other than clothes. But for right now, if I can't get access to something like, oh, I'm buying this for like a plushie for a quarter and then flipping it for like 20, 30. I don't know, but probably be other items in the future.
It's interesting because normally when people start off selling, they're an everything seller, and she kind of skipped that and went into a niche right away. I'm still a fan of the everything seller. It's just a little bit more complicated because you don't know how long things are going to take to research. Your storage is going to be a little more difficult. Shipping takes a little bit longer. But my goal is to give her the tools that she can sell anything. And then I want her to come to her own conclusion that niching down is generally easier. I don't know if it's more fun or more fulfilling, but it's certainly easier to do the same thing over and over.
Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly what I've been feeling. Like, sticking to clothes is easier, but it is cool going online, seeing like people flipping like a calculator, a plushie for like a lot of money. But like Chris said, it is a little bit more space. A lot of the times, like, he'll be like, oh, this took like 2 months to sell, but like it was like a $40 profit. And I'm just like, that's so long. But like, I know that's normal.
JRB is asking, what are the bins that you were speaking about?
So it's a branch of Goodwill, and instead of when you go to a thrift store, the clothes being hung up on a rack, it's literally just inside a bin, and you manually search through clothes. And yeah, you also have to like fight for your life because there's also like 30 other people there. Whenever they rotate the bins, everybody runs because you want to get like the first look at all of the fresh clothes. So yeah, it's definitely work. But yeah, that's what the bins are. It's manually looking through clothes instead of it being like on a rack. Mm-hmm. And I'm gatekeeping the location. I'm sorry.
Matt is asking, my wife and I are wanting to do something similar. What is the best advice just starting with a little bit of money, like $100?
Start with stuff around the house. Ideally, if you are already past that point and you have a couple $100, I would just start thrifting, finding items that you can flip. I do think consignment is very cool, or I actually think that the number one type of reseller is an established reseller with an established audience. So if you sell one thing and people know you for that one thing, then you can charge more. You can sell things faster. You know all the people who you can sell to immediately. If she wants to sell all of the stuff that she has right now, she could sell to at least a dozen professional resellers that she's already met. Number one, easiest, is established reseller, established audience, but that takes the longest to build. The second easiest is selling to an established reseller. Anybody just beginning can do that. You can go to the bins, find a fire piece, sell it to somebody at the bins for more. You get the finder's fee for finding it. You can go to a consignment shop. You can sell to a bigger reseller like myself. An established reseller with an established audience can pay more. I can pay more for certain items because I already have somebody who's willing to buy it. So that's the easiest. Next is basically you don't know what you're doing and you don't have an audience. And that's where it takes a long time to build up. And that's where I'm having less build it up. I mean, literally she has like 16 followers on Whatnot.
It's 90.
90 now.
It's 90.
So it was 16. So she went from 0 to 16 to 90. Okay. Yeah. And I'm now sitting at maybe 100,000 followers on all my platforms on Whatnot. And that's just from 2 years. So it would surprise me if she does it for 2 years. She's not in the high 5 figures of followers because it just takes time.
Yeah, I feel like that's currently what I'm not like struggling, but like what I'm like striving for is I do see a lot of opportunity in Whatnot, which is crazy because I didn't know the app before. But it's really about, like you said, getting established and building like that fan base. But yeah.
Flipping Owl says, does value depend on the style? I see some Loro Piana items very cheap listed on eBay.
100%. Material, style. There's Loro Piana under $20, right? There's Loro Piana for over $50,000. So like, I wish it was just as easy as this brand automatically buy it. It's always worth money, but it's just not true. And there are regular brands like Gap that they have $500 denim Japanese selvage jeans for sale. So it really just depends on style, color, condition, size, relevancy.
Yeah, and I feel like the prime example of that is if you go to a Goodwill, like the ones that are updated on like fashion trends, you'll see them charge some, like they will overcharge for a certain item because of the brand, but they're just overcharging at Goodwill because they're like, "Oh, this brand is like really good. We're going to set it at this price." But it's like, "No, but that's just like a basic style of that brand though. It's not even worth that much." So yeah.
Tales from the Crypto says, have you found that any days of the week are better at the bins than others, or is it completely random?
Are you serious? Just kidding. Obviously, some days are better than other days because that's like why I want people to go. Because like there's a specific reason I have her go 2 days of the week because I'm guessing those are the two best days. When I went on Saturday to the flea market, they said that's the worst day to go. It's only for retail. On those days, the flea market is trying to get the most money, and Saturday has the most people. So you would not be getting a deal on the busiest day because they're going to wait for that top dollar customer. Somebody asked, I was at a place that they wanted $75 for a North Face used jacket it was $75 new. They wanted $75 for a used one because they're like, you're right here right now. Why don't you just take it home? You don't have to wait for shipping. So I was like, that's not a deal.
Yeah, like Chris said, if you go there just for 1 week, like every day, you're automatically going to know which days and also what times are better.
Duncan is asking, does Les want to continue reselling after the experiment or get a job?
Yeah, I feel like now I've definitely found I'm like, okay, I do see a lot of potential here. It's actually also been really fun. And even before this, I've always genuinely loved, I would send my friends, my thrift hauls all the time. I'm like, guys, I can't believe I found this. So now it's kind of like, I feel like this job, it actually ended up being perfect because it was really what I liked to do. But in the far, far future, I'm probably going to get something regarding my poli-sci degree. But as of right now, I definitely do want to build this.
We are at the moment of truth in her business right now where we have to develop an inventory system. So this is moment of truth. If she she has a spare bedroom. Yeah. If she decides to get an inventory system and graduate from here and put up some shelves or some racks at her house, then she could also have 500,000 item store in that spare bedroom and make that ideally $1,400 a week profit forever, even with a poli-sci job, because if you have higher end pieces, you don't need to have a high sell-through rate. The people who, and if you have another job, you don't need a high sell-through rate. It's when people are strapped that they discount all their items and they panic to try to get things to move quicker. And that's when you need to rely on your income, and that's not what I teach on my channel. So for her, I want her to have the option of running her store for fun.
Yeah, and right now, yeah, it's definitely been fun. I like doing TikToks. I like making little content videos. So yeah, I see myself doing it. And then also my boyfriend, he would probably kind of run that or whatever. But yeah, for right now, for sure gonna do it.
Thanks. Joanne says, you were lucky to live in California for thrifting. Do not even try to thrift in NC as there is nothing.
Well, just off the bat, I feel like a lot of the top whatnot sellers, I've bought in some items from 2 different sellers, and they've all shipped out of literally that, North Carolina. Right? That's North Carolina? Yeah, NC, yeah.
Charlotte is a financial hub. It's a very wealthy city. So I would say thrifting is also bad here. The Goodwills here charge an insane amount. The Salvation Armies, it's really cool to buy pre-owned stuff, and they're taking advantage. Everything is quite expensive. I don't know if I think North Carolina is definitely in the top 10 states to resell it, in my opinion. There is so much stuff in Charlotte, and it's on the East Coast already, so you save a lot of money shipping to the East Coast. And there's just within a 5-hour drive, you could probably go to at least 10 different Goodwill bins. So I don't know if that's true, but I'm pretty sure within 5 hours you're in different states.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charlene says, or is asking, do you do laundry in your personal place or at an actual laundromat? And do you separate this process for your business as well?
I do. Well, I do have like it is a shared laundry at my apartment, but there's only 3 units. I find that it's actually easier to do it at the laundromat, even though you do spend money. But I don't know, I would prefer to be able to do all of my laundry in like an hour and a half versus like, yes, I can do it for free at home, but I would have to probably do like, because it's so much clothes, I would probably have to do like 10 separate washes, which I'm like, that's insane. When the laundry, they have like that mattress size, like washer that you can put so much clothes in.
Plus, you get receipts, so you can kind of like keep that as your business receipts.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, I mean, it's always like I guess I would have to ask for a receipt. But I mean, it's always the exact same price. So I mean, I know like what I'm spending every week, I guess.
Tales from the Crypto says, are you aggressive at the bins, throwing elbows, or just go where people have been before?
When it is rotation, I'm not like the aggressive type person, just because I've seen what the repercussions of that are. Like, you have other people in the community being like, they're like, I don't really like them, or like they're annoying, etc. On Friday, I saw a fight break out almost. So yeah, I just feel like it's better to be like slightly aggressive, you know, try to make your way in there, like look, but not like take an item out of someone's hand, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Do people take things out of people's hands?
Yes.
In the Orlando bins, somebody was shot and
What?
they reopened half an hour later. Like they're you know, just like that's just part of it, I guess. Somebody found a gun and they were fighting over it, and they accidentally shot one of the people, and they literally just reopened because people just moved on with their day. So it's just very aggressive. I always say aggressive people eat first. Honestly, you should be a bit aggressive at the Goodwill bins. It's not that easy to get stuff because everybody wants jackets, coats, DVDs, anything sports related, anything graphic print. People, they will take it right out of your hand. If you don't cover it, they'll take it out of your cart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I guess I'm not comfortable being like super aggressive. Like, obviously I'm taking an item, but I'm just not the type like, yeah, I'm taking it out of like someone's hand, but you do have to be aggressive a little bit. Yeah.
That's crazy. So people aren't just like lingering and looking. They're like really going for it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, during like rotation. Yeah.
Let's see. Duncan Vier says, after 20 years, my audience is 1,000 plus repeat buyers on eBay, and it's hard to keep up. So it just takes lots of time
It takes
that
time.
you build it up. Tales from the Crypto says, one thing I've learned over the past couple years, you never tell the top resellers, my town has nothing. They won't believe you.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. I guess North Carolina is not the place to be if you want to do this for a living. You have to move somewhere else. I honestly think that. I think it's hard everywhere, right? Because if you didn't know what days to go, if you didn't go, the very first time you go to a thrift store, it's hard. I went to the flea market on Saturday. I haven't been into that flea market in 5 years. It was hard. I didn't know who to talk to. I had no idea what people were selling. I had to look through every single stall. It took 5 hours to walk through and look through every single stall and figure out what is even being sold here. So the second time I go, I can skip through 80% of it that I know is not good, and it's way faster the second time. So the first time you go anywhere, it's going to be hard. I went with around 10 people. We only found one item worth reselling, and it's because everything was priced retail. So like everyone after I went were saying like, go on Tuesday and Friday. Why would they say that? Because those are probably the days with the lowest walk-in traffic, and that's when you get your deals. So now I know, Don't go back on Saturday during retail day. Go back on Tuesday or Friday.
And you found that out by going.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not just a blanket statement. Everyone go on Tuesday.
More questions if you guys have any.
Yeah, and also validating what someone says about the town might not having something. I'm from like central California, like by Fresno. I'm like, I do believe at that. Yeah, there's nothing there. But so I'm like validated a little bit, but yeah, right here it's fine. North Carolina, I feel like is good.
Eros says, found a whole wardrobe of Loro Piana and
Oh my
Cucinelli
God.
last winter. The wardrobe had 2 of those Loro Piana Horsey Storm system jackets, but
Nice.
not cashmere though.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah, I honestly think this person may have passed, because like, I mean, there was other cool stuff in that palette, and then it's just so unusual to have something. Who donates a $5,000 jacket in perfect condition? It seems like the person was like, "Oh, it's not Burberry, throw it away," you know, because That's why I don't think this is fake, because it's not a known brand like Gucci or Louis Vuitton. It's an underground. It's a quiet luxury brand. That's it. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.